unconscious bias and emotion that is going on right now in the job market. Unconscious bias have a critical and problematic effect on our judgment. And that's according to Francesca Gino, a professor at Harvard Business School. They cause us to make decisions in favor of one person or group to the detriment of others. See, if I interview you and I like you, you're like me, and we have a lot of things in common, even if you don't have what I'm looking for, I might decide that you're the perfect fit for the job, not realizing that I feel that way because I liked you. If I interview someone who is nothing like me, I'm pretty extroverted, I'm pretty friendly. If I'm interviewing someone who's introverted or more analytical or, more factual than I am, I might screen them out saying that they're not a fit for the job because they didn't click with me. Most research has proven that a hiring process can be biased and unfair. Unconscious racism, ageism, and sexism play a big role in who is hired, but there's steps you can take as a job seeker to avoid unconscious bias or emotion. I want to share a story of a Fortune 100 company who hired me. It was the most interesting thing I've ever done. They hired me to come out to Alexandria, Virginia, and they asked me to teach their recruiters how to recruit women and minorities because their C-suite had no minorities. It was 100% white males. After less than 4 hours with the recruiting team, I realized the recruiters were presenting women. They were presenting diverse candidates, but they were all eliminated in the hiring process. So then I realized that there were only 2 people that were screening everybody out. And so the funny thing is when I told this to the person who hired me, I said, I'm not staying here for 3 days. Your recruiting process is fine. It's your hiring process that's not working. And you've got a couple people in your hiring process for executive level positions that have unconscious bias. They might not even realize it. And he goes, no, Barb, you're wrong. And I said, I tell you what, why don't I have lunch with some of the people involved in your hiring process? Just let me have lunch with them. And let's bring up this fact that I think your interviewing process might be eliminating minorities and women. And so he arranged a luncheon. I sat at the luncheon. I didn't know who the 2 people were because everybody just sat at lunch. And so I brought up the fact that your recruiters are recruiting diverse and women, but it's the interviewing process that's not fair. And all of a sudden, one of the men at the table came at me and said, how do you know that after you were with us, 2 hours? Like, you haven't been living what we live. You don't know our company. Like, what makes you think that you can determine what our problems are? And I said, why, do you have a problem because I'm a woman and I'm telling you that your process is broken? And I did it intentionally to push a hot button. Well, he came right at me. Well, then another man across the table started coming at me. And they said, who do you think you are? And we've been here forever. And our process is great. And I just kept pushing their buttons, and I kept saying things that were making them angrier and angrier. And so after lunch, I looked at the senior VP who had hired me, and I said, those 2 men are your problem. Those are the 2 that are causing you not to hire diverse and women, and they don't even realize it. And he said, I cannot believe how they came at you. Why did you keep pushing their buttons? I said, because I wanted to show you. The solution basically was, I told them, do the first interview as a phone interview, not Zoom, not Skype. You can't see the person. And you rate everybody on the Zoom interview from a scale of 1 to 5. And the second interview should be a panel interview where the direct report is there, but no one person can screen somebody in or out. And so if in fact you're involved in a process, okay, you're involved in a process where you feel there might be unconscious bias, suggest a panel interview. Say, if we want to save some time, our company has gone to panel interviews because a panel interview is the fairest way to hire an executive with no bias or emotion entering the process, and it gives everybody a fair shake. Because in a panel interview, everybody has a scorecard, and they're scoring you based on the performance objectives of the job. And that's something else you want to ask for when you're interviewing out there for an executive level position. Too often, the job rep is just a list of everything that they need. Ask them how they're going to evaluate you in 6 to 9 months. How am I going to be evaluated in 6 months? How am I going to be evaluated after a year? Because most job seekers don't ask that question. If you ask them for performance objectives, you've separated yourself from everybody they're interviewing you. And now you know what they really want. The other thing is, so often the performance objectives don't even align with the job requisition. So that will help you stand out.